For 9 months since Andre de Ruyter's resignation, Eskom remains without a CEO. According to an article penned by News24 journalist Carol Paton, Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan received a CEO recommendation from the board but rejected it. Paton joining us now to expand on the matter. Carol, good morning to you and thank you for your time. This story that you penned yesterday is a cause for worry because you are clear that this entire exercise has now gone back to the drawing board. What happened?
Good morning, Xoli, and thanks for having me. What happened was, normally, so it is the role of the minister to ask the board please to do an executive search and interview the candidates, do all the legwork, recommend to him, give him a short list. So what happened was the board did this, and in May they had completed the process and they had decided that there was only one recommendable candidate amongst the people that they had interviewed. So they put one name on their list, on their short list, and sent it to Gordhan. Then several months lapsed. No one really knew what was going on. And then Gordhan quite recently contacted them again and said, look, this is not okay. I need 3 names. And this is, in terms of the memorandum of incorporation of Eskom, you need to give me 3 names. Now, there's a little bit of a grey area as to whether that's true or not, and I haven't managed to get my hands on the memorandum of incorporation that he's referring to, but the one that I've seen, the one that is on the Eskom website, it just says shortlist. It doesn't say 3. So what's now happened is that the board is in a situation. What must they do? Must they put on the other names who they decided were not recommendable just to make up 3? Or must they look again? Or what should they do? And we're waiting to hear from them as to what they've decided. Well,
it looks like the board, the Eskom board, is in a pickle here, but we're going to get into that in a moment. There was a clear front runner, Carol Paton, and that is exactly what your story points to. Do we know who that person was, and might they be the reason the minister decided that this must go back? I perhaps don't like this person.
I don't know, and then there could be other reasons as to why the minister asked for 3 names. But in terms of who it is, look, I don't know who the actual preferred name was. I know it was one of 4 people. And most of them are previous, Eskom senior managers. There's Ayanda Noah, who's now the chair of the Central Energy Fund. There's Paulo Flati, who was the CFO at Eskom some time ago. There's Dan Morakani, who was the head of Group Capital some time ago. And then there's somebody called Vali Padiachi, he works with sort of municipalities advising on, electricity distribution. So it's one of those 4. And I don't, there may be other reasons, as I was saying, there may be other reasons as to why the minister decided he needed more names. And it could be that it's not that he had an objection with the person who was on the short list, but that he was trying to manage internal ANC dynamics. And that is going to be the problem with this appointment, is that how are you going to get a cabinet that is as divided as it is to agree on who the CEO should be? And I suspect that's where the problem lies.
ANC dynamics. And those ANC dynamics clearly holding the country to ransom in terms of stabilizing leadership at Eskom. Let's talk about what the Eskom board ought to do now. They've been told to go back to the drawing board, as your story suggests. I did try yesterday with my team, on the back of your story, to get a hold of the board. And we were told we're in a meeting and we will issue a statement. I haven't seen a statement from Eskom. Does that tell you just how possibly frustrated, and so where the Eskom board might be at this stage about what to do now?
I think they will have to, release a statement. I think they will. And I'm also waiting for that statement. Lots of people are. So I think they will, because they need to say, like, well, who was wrong here? Because what's happening now is Pravin Gordhan is saying that they messed it up. He's effectively saying you messed it up. Whereas that might not be the case. I don't think they're going to take kindly to that. And I also think, the chairman of Eskom, Paul Makwana, is really a stickler for process. He is such he is so fastidious about governance and process. I can't imagine that he messed something like that up. So we're waiting to hear from what the board's going to do. But I think the bigger problem is obviously, what happens now at Eskom. Eskom hasn't had a CEO, permanent CEO for 7 months now.
Carol, you've said something earlier, and it's got to do with managing ANC dynamics. We have an Eskom that has implemented severe stages of load shedding in the past few days. The situation might be improving now. What should we, as ordinary South Africans, be thinking about this? That here we go again. Is it the ANC and its squabbles holding the country to ransom once again? How should we take this as ordinary South Africans?
Well, it's really not acceptable, and it really does show the extent to which this government and this cabinet is paralyzed to make decisions and to actually do things. And we see it all over. We see it in every sort of area of the state and every area of the economy where government is involved, that decisions just don't get made because there's internal disagreement, there's controversy, or decisions are made and they're not implemented, or someone else undoes the decision. So it really has to do with a lot of, a huge dysfunctionality in the state. And, if you can't do something as straightforward as that, which is just to appoint a CEO for the power utility, then you're certainly not going to be able to do more sophisticated and complex things like fix Eskom.
Where's the president in all of this, Carol?
He hasn't said anything. I mean, I would hope that he's been kept in the loop, but there's no evidence of that. And also, I mean, the president, we know, is not one to sort of say, well, look, we have to resolve this urgently. When he hits an impasse or he hits a kind of a contradictory kind of views from his minister, he very seldom, sorts it out and takes a position. It takes him a long time to actually do that. And, the other dynamic complicating it is that, Pravin Gordhan has said that, that Department of Public Enterprises is no longer going to exist. He's expected to retire, after, after this term of the administration. And then other people are saying, well, we also then need to have a say in who the Eskom CEO is, because he's not going to be here. So it's very difficult.
Carol Paton, thank you for depressing us so early in the morning. It is actually a very upsetting situation, because we have a right to have stability in that institution. It has a monopoly on distributing power in this country, and right now, the conversation we've just had does not inspire confidence at all. And admittedly, Carol, I don't know if you've tried. I did try to get a hold of the minister directly. I'll admit that on air. I have his number. And he said no. It was a flat no. Have you tried?
No, I haven't, because I do think the ball is now in the board's court. They need to decide what they're going to do and what they're going to tell the minister. So that's, for me, the next move that needs to be made.
Thank you very much, senior journalist at News 24, Carol Paton. Thank you.